Yeah, Jeff will be joining then.
Yeah. He's our pinch hitter. He always comes
It
in.
says we're live. Let's see if we can ensure that we actually have good audio on the YouTube channel.
Cars and coffee.
Cars and Coffee, here we are.
Yes, we are. I'm watching. Here we are.
All right.
I just got to make sure we have good audio.
I might get me some WO thick.
Sounds good to me.
Everything good?
WH.
Some what?
WH. Watch out.
Watch hours. Oh. The world runs on Duncan.
Yes, sir.
And it also runs on Mad Money.
Whoa, that's a throwback right there. That was my guy right there.
Yeah, he's still going. He's still on CNBC every night.
Yeah. I just watch Fox Business a lot nowadays. Yeah. In the morning time.
Yeah. Well, to everybody who's watching, good evening. We got just a small crew tonight. We'll be growing. It's not going to be this small the whole night, I'm sure. But we wanted to get together. We wanted to say good evening and see how everybody's doing with their lockdown. We're still on lockdown. I know up here in Maryland, things really haven't changed. They have opened up a couple parks, and they're allowing a little bit, more freedom, but not nearly as much as it was before. Is that right, Soto?
That is. I heard Ocean City opened up a boardwalk.
Wow.
But you can't collectively, you can't put a seat and an umbrella. You can't do all that.
No.
They only opened it for exercising. I think.
Yeah, for exercises. For what was it?
Like running,
For running.
walking.
And then you got to leave.
Got you. How about you, Eric? What's going on in North Carolina?
Well, they had a change, in line with our country's phased approach. I think there are like 3 phases, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. We're kind of on the front of that phase 1 because at 5 o'clock on Friday, they opened up retail.
Wow.
And yeah, they opened up some retail. So I actually went to the mall today, on my Mother's Day kind of type journey. But actually, a lot of the stores, even though they could have been open, they weren't open. It was a lot of empty spots in the mall. Well, they were closed, not empty. They were still closed. So I was able to hit a few spots that were open, but I was kind of shocked that more of them were not open, based on our governor's decision to open it back up in the phased approach. But you still can't have more than 10 gathered, and you still need to have face coverings, and we had a local curfew also, and that's been lifted as well. So it still feels the same, but in traffic today, I actually felt like I was in traffic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was normal traffic. It was, oh man, I have to wait. I'm gonna miss the light. I see the light turn green. I'm gonna miss it. That bugs me when I'm like 5 cars away and I know because they were moving so slow, I'm still gonna miss the light again.
Yeah.
And it was that today, and I hadn't felt that in weeks.
Wow. Yeah, it's amazing how things are changing drastically. I know that Dan, Exhausted Outdoors, who won't be joining us tonight, he's got a bunch of stuff going on, but he just participated in a little rally today, which was kind of big. I saw some Instagram stories on it where they got together in Pennsylvania, and there was a lot of cars that got together just to go on this rally. And I know people have the cabin fever. What's the number? 600? 600 cars. I didn't realize it was that much. Wow. And hi, Duramax Country Boy. Thanks for joining us again. Good to see you.
It was hosted by Sean, who was the guest a few weeks ago.
Oh, it was hosted by Sean.
Yeah, it was hosted by Sean.
Oh, excellent. Okay. Yeah, he was on here. Yeah. Huh. So yeah, things are already growing. If you got 600 people willing to come out and just go on a drive, I mean, that's a lot of people. But they were supported. They had the state police helping because they were going to get on the turnpike between Lancaster and King of Prussia.
It was a fundraiser. That's what it was. It was to
a fundraiser.
Yeah, to support families from for cops who died in the line.
Oh, law enforcement officers. Okay, that had died in line of duty. Okay, so yeah, definitely a good cause, and he always does that. He always has a good cause. So yeah, it was exciting to see them doing that. And I got invited to go. I just there was no way. I have the I8 is still undergoing ceramic coating, so the both of us were able to get the body, the main part of the body done completely. And this today I just did a few bits and pieces, and now I got a big warning on my screen.
It's because I turned that TV off.
Okay, all right.
That's all.
So let's go around the horn. What's new with everybody?
You want to start today?
Now I got my charge pipe today, so I'm gonna be doing a video on that. Install video probably tomorrow. I'm excited to see the throttle response it's gonna have after I put that in, and then I can start really putting some mods to it after I get that put in.
Excellent.
Looking forward to it.
Excellent.
Yeah. What about you, Pat? Let me go ahead.
Yeah, we've been just doing the ceramic coating and on mine, but we went live with Rebecca's oil change video on my channel with her VW Jetta, and that was good because I mean, yeah, she's already done oil changes before, but this was the first time she went ahead and agreed to let me video record it. So I was the director and producer and cameraman, and I had to pull on some wrenches too. I mean, one of the most exciting things in that was that the oil filter was on the engine so tight that she put a strap wrench on it and pulled. She's pulling the whole car, and I finally just hung on it and I broke the strap wrench. The tack weld in the strap wrench broke, so I had to get a totally separate device on there. So that was the highlight of that video.
This week I just got my car back from PPF on the front bumper, done by Wild Wraps, and he did a great job and stuff like that. And eventually I had to get rivets for my front plate, so I need to put that back on there, but it needs a bath first.
Gotcha, man. Good stuff. I just say for me, I've been reaching out to my guy who's working on the rap and everything, and I think it's because of world events. It's been kind of a slow process because I'm kind of like, yo, I'm ready, man. I want to, I want to see the little tester spots. I'm ready, but it's been like a slow process, man. I'm just like, and I'm so tempted because there's so many people doing raps and different things, but I really like that particular shop that they did my taillights and did my side markers and everything, smoked them and everything. So I really love the quality of work. I'm gonna be patient and keep working and keep waiting on my man. But what I did want to say, Pat, man, that conversation we had earlier and some things you sent me, I'm really, really taking a serious look. Maybe this is the infancy stage, I don't know, of my Huracan search. Like the real, like, okay, like Eric, get some numbers. You know how you got to talk numbers first? Because we may talk numbers and I might find out like, oh no. Now I can just mark it off my list. Let me pick a different car. Let me go with a Hyundai Sonata since I couldn't get the Huracan. Let me come all the way down. Look, I don't need to call anybody for that. All I got to do is call my credit union and say, hey, I want to get this Sonata. I'm on my way to the lot right now. Send me the blank check.
Right.
But I really just want to know because it kind of feels like when we were house shopping, right? When we were looking at a foreclosed house, right? In the neighborhood we're in right now. So it's a higher level than where we're at, right? So I was like, man, we probably could get in there on a foreclosure or something like that, or maybe an older home type neighborhood. I never once, talked to anybody and said, this is how much house you guys can purchase. And it kind of feels the same way right now. It's like, man, I need to know how much can I really purchase.
Right.
And so I'm starting that serious search with Pat's company. I'm saying it in jest, y'all. Those that are listening, it's an inside joke. I'm definitely going to look do the info thing on Premier Financial Services because they do the luxury cars and all that. And I want to just get a quote. Just tell me because maybe what I'm looking at is too high for what I'm comfortable doing, right? But they might say, well, look, anything at 100,000, here's your number. Anything at 150,000, 175, here's your number. Then I can say, oh man, I was thinking that was out of reach. Just give me the numbers, then I can make a decision. Well, I can talk to the wife. and we can make a decision. Because the second part of that is what's going to happen to this. All this time I've been saying, oh, I'm going to keep the I-8, I'm going to keep it. But then Pat kind of, woke me up a little bit and said, man, it's a word called depreciation. It's a word called maintenance. And it's a word with I-8 called a battery. We don't know what the future holds with those type of things. And I want to make a smart decision. My heart said, keep it. Back in the day, you would keep your dad's 62, 1972, 1982 named the car. You would keep it because you could always work on it and you can always work on it. But I don't think this is going to be one of those type of cars. This and Tesla is going to be one of those cars you pass down from generation. Well, 3 generations have owned the car. There you go. I don't think so. What do you think, Pat and Dick?
Yeah, go ahead, Soto. What do you think?
Depends. I mean, if it's not going to be you're still going to need a daily driver. Forget it. You're not going to drive the Huracan as a daily driver, right?
What? No, I don't think so. No, I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
You're going to need something. You would trade.
I mean,
I don't know if I could afford both. I'd keep it.
yeah.
I'd keep the I-8.
I mean, in my opinion, like, if you got a Huracan or something like that, just get something cheap as a daily driver. So my Jetta, leftover, brand new, fully loaded, essentially, 20 grand. And that thing, I get between 45 and 50 miles to the gallon. Like, I am not spending any money on gas. I mean, maintenance-wise, it's pretty cheap to maintain, reliable, that sort of thing. Like, if you wanted to have something fun, then I would balance it out by getting something cheap as a daily driver. And, like, you'd be surprised. There's plenty of room in the back seat for, like, car seats. The trunk is massive. I mean, he can attest to that. Like, he was impressed. You open this thing up, and the trunk is absolutely massive in it. I mean, they're just, and you have options. Like, you have the option to do the diesel, to do a manual, that sort of thing. So you can still get something kind of sporty. And right now, I just joined a bunch of Volkswagen groups and stuff like that. And because it is, like, the first year of the new, I guess, generation, there's not a whole ton of mods out there yet. But they're making a lot. So you can still do, cold air intakes, you can do exhaust, you can do little things, tunes, that you can have it to be a little bit more fun than just a plain old Jetta. But, I think that would be a good compromise because you have something reliable and cheap while, that you don't mind beating up, and then you can have your fun car.
Yeah, true. That's why you gotta talk to the experts, man. That's why anytime you talk to a guy with a mechanic shirt on, he knows what he's doing. I don't care.
Well, in my opinion, and I just want to say, a good comment here from Country Boy saying, I think that everyone should start with their dream and then see what you can afford, and that's awesome because, if you go the opposite way, you're always going to want more than you got. If at least you pick something that's out there, like this is what I really want. Now, what can I really live with right now? That's definitely it's a good philosophy. But I was raised completely opposite. I was raised in order to save your money as much as possible and then, buy the cheapest thing that is new. And that's how my dad was. He would buy the cheapest if it had crank down windows and no air conditioning, but it was brand new, he would buy it. And he'd buy it cash because he could. But see, I don't want to do that. I don't want to live, I don't want to do that. Now, when I had a Corvette, I also had, I think I had my Ford Ranger. Maybe I had an earlier Sport Track. I don't know. But I wouldn't drive the Corvette all the time, and now I regret not doing that. So it's like now I'm daily driving the i8, and I wish that I would have spent the time with the Corvette as much, because by leaving it parked and worrying about the miles and worrying about getting a ding or a rock chip, you're just saving it for the next guy. You're not enjoying the car at all. So yeah, if it's hard, it's very hard to make that decision. And I think if I had a Lamborghini in addition to the i8, I would drive the i8 on the weekdays, and then on the weekend, I would drive the Lamborghini to Cars and Coffee and things like that. And now I have two cars taking up my garage. I got to park two cars outside, and I got to worry about the maintenance on the cars outside more because they're sitting in the elements, and it's hard. It's hard to make a decision on that. What's the right answer? I don't know. Bigger garage and smaller house.
Yeah, that seems like the answer right there. Because ideal. I mean, y'all can see. I got my golf cart on this side and some other stuff right here. So literally, the Lexus truck is outside and the Corolla is outside. And I had my Camaro and it would have been outside, but then the driveway is not a long driveway, so that means move this, move that, da 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 da. So yeah, I think I want to get the numbers first. That's going to tell me a whole lot. Because if the numbers tell me, Eric, that doesn't make any sense. Because I would stretch to 1,500 a month. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to pay 15. I'd rather pay like 12. You know what I'm saying, for an exotic or something like that. But I would stretch to 15. But if they're like, oh, it's going to be 3,000, then I know that's not for me right now. That's not for me. It's going to have to come a different type of way. Whether that means me saving up some money and putting down a big chunk and financing it, like buying it, putting down 75,000 and financing 100,000, something like that. But that's not gonna happen today because I don't have this 75 disposable just laying around, you know. But I did find some money though. We've been going to Disney every year, Pat and Dave and Jim. We've been going to Disney every year. So that Disney trip got canceled. So the way my mind works, okay, we were gonna spend like $5,000 at Disney. That money is spent. So now we can put that five into Huracan, or I like this even better, paying our aid off early,
Yes.
which would push me and put me in a better position to get the Huracan.
Yes.
So I don't know. I don't think now I'm thinking that maybe putting it on this would be better.
Well,
Hope for the best.
What you think, Pat?
hope for the best and win the lottery or build a bigger garage. Duramax Country Boy has two options there for us. I think here's my thought. If you're going to look into leasing a Huracan, then they're probably going to want money down. So I wouldn't pay off the I-8 until you got your numbers, to find out, and then make a decision after that.
With it, man. I'm with it. And I don't do anything. I don't buy anything off impulse either.
Good. Yeah, me neither.
I do my full research, and I would rather walk away from the table than to make I want it. I'm not itching for it because again, I know people debate this. My supercar itch is being scratched by this. The look, not the performance. Let me go ahead and help these people out. Not the performance. No. The look and feel that you get of a supercar. Our good friend is joining us, Jeff. I get that right now. So I'm being pacified right now until I get the numbers and find out. But then that other decision has to be made. Am I going to be able to keep it, or is it going to have to go? But I would miss the doors going up. I know I would miss that.
So Huracan's not the right answer. Hey, Jeff.
Which is the one with the doors that go?
Is that what just
The
happened?
Mercy and the
Did I
Aventador.
talk
Okay.
to Vapors talking about maybe going to a bull?
Yeah, we're talking about getting numbers. So I'm actually going to seriously look at the company that Pat gets the commission from, Premier Financial Services, and I'm because you got to put his name at the bottom, and then I want to get the serious numbers, Jeff, to find out is this a reality or is this something just like, hey man, Eric, that's too far.
I reach out to them and be like, I think you guys should sponsor our channel.
Oh, Premier Financial Services.
Yeah, absolutely. Be like,
That's a shit.
you guys already had a bit,
Sorry.
I don't want to walk in on Pat's territory. They're already sponsoring one channel. I mean, I don't want to, I don't want to mess up a good thing. But when I talk to them, the salesman in me, if I feel like there's an opportunity, then yeah, I'll mention something like that, But I have to be in a position that I can help them. So I got to grow grow my influence over YouTube to be in a position that they would want to work with me. Maybe they'll give me a car to drive around on my channel to promote their services. But let me grow my base so that
Right.
I can maybe have an opportunity like that, man.
Right.
You know?
So, um, even Country Boy said, just rent one for the weekend, make sure you like it. But it's like the puppy dog clothes. That's just going to make you want to buy it. So,
I mean,
That's for sure.
maybe. Well, but then again, you might decide, especially right now, a lot of the exotic rental companies are doing deals and stuff. You might rent it and go, oh, I don't really love the way this drives. Let me drive a different one. You drive something else, and then you go, okay, I thought I liked the Huracan more, but I decide I don't. Maybe I like the Mercy more, or something like that.
Mm. That's not a bad deal. I know y'all have heard of the app Turo. Because before the world event shifted, I had dates set to go to LA for my YouTube channel, 20 to 26 July, and I was looking at some Turo rentals, different prices and stuff for like some Lamborghinis and Ferraris and stuff, and they had some Huracans and Aventadors. Like the Aventador was like $600 a day, $700 a day. I think the Huracan was like 500, 550 a day. So that would literally have to be a 1 day thing. Like, good grief. Like, and when I tell you, I'm gonna drive that car from sun up to turn in at $500, $600 a day. Oh, we're gonna get some footage. We're gonna do like 20 car reviews. 10 things I hate about the Lamborghini. 15 things I love about Lamborghini. The dashboard of the Lamborghini, the trunk space in the front of the Lamborghini, the braking system, the calipers. I gotta get my return. I pay 500. I can't just cruise around LA, ride by the Staples Center, and take some pictures, and then go take a nap in the hotel.
The other thing that you can think about, and it's going from 500 to 600 to I think I spent probably 1,500. Is I did one of the Gotham Dream Cars drives, and I think that was, I don't know, 5 or 6 hours all in, but it was, I think, I want to say 2 Ferraris, an Aston Martin, an Aventador shortly after they came out, and there was something else in the mix, and a rotation around, let's say it was 10 drivers and 5 cars, whatever it was. So we just, piggybacked around, and you got to get the full experience, and that way it's not just buying on, okay, the Huracan is, what visually is the right car. It's also, do I fit right? Does it feel right? Does it shift right? Does it hold me right?
I hope
Things like that as well.
That's not reflecting in the actual
I,
stream.
it was the Mercy. Why was it a Mercy? We didn't get to drive the Mercy.
You go listen.
That was being driven by Valentino
You
Balboni.
might have to walk away.
So it's a whole different story. I'm not saying that's the best way, to get your bang, especially the way you've already presented to us. Like, you're going to make 1,700 videos in that 12-hour window.
Right.
There's some options.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go listen.
I do think you should get the bang for your buck. You know what I'm saying? So I promise you, if I did use Turo, and that was the least expensive route. The luxury car rental places in LA was way more expensive. The Turos, at least they're individuals or some companies that own Turo. It was a lot cheaper.
But what do you get with Turo?
You rent it. Well, you do the contract. You get certain number of miles for that day per day. You put a deposit down, like $1,000 deposit down that you get back after you turn the car in, and it's a rental. It's a car rental, but it has limitations of miles on the exotic cars. So you'll know how many miles you have for that day.
I gotcha.
Yeah, it seems like some of the Aventador's miles are so low. I was like, man, I would want to drive more than 100 miles.
Yeah.
That's the problem that I felt with them. Is there's always a mileage cap somewhere in the mix.
Yeah, like the Aventador is like 100 miles. I'm like, so that's basically a rental for a video shoot.
Yeah.
Where the car is sitting in the background, and it's just in the background. You're not driving.
It's doing it here too.
Because I'm going to drive up and down Beverly Hills, Rodeo Drive, getting video footage, doing all that stuff. I'm gonna ride by the Staples Center, all the hot spots downtown LA, and getting footage, reviewing all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
You got me interested now. I'm on Turo.
Yeah, but think, are you looking in your area?
Yeah, I'm looking at my area right now. I'm seeing what they have.
Yeah, because I was gonna rent a Tesla in Raleigh, North Carolina, which is like 45, 50 minutes away. I wanted to rent the Model X.
So it's not.
Just to see if
It's
if
probably
we would
coming
like,
from
would that be
because
a
of the
viable
delay.
option?
There's probably so much bandwidth that's being
And
hogged up.
Turo, I've seen
So
some
I
good
turned my
prices on
I
there.
turned
Not
my
exotic,
Wi-Fi off of
but
this,
your quote
so it
unquote
wouldn't use
non-exotic.
Wi-Fi. So if you have that on your
I
phone, you
mean,
might
I've
want
seen some great numbers on there. Like, man, I wouldn't mind just doing it for the weekend on some of the cars that I saw on there. Just to say I drove this BMW 7 Series, just to say I drove this particular Lexus or whatever. But yeah, look what Thick about to do. He about to go rent a car this weekend. God, I'm sorry. I shouldn't even told you about Turo, man.
I don't even think I don't see any Lamborghinis.
Well, so two things. Eric, one, there's a place called Instant Luxury Rentals down by you, that does exotic car rentals.
Instant luxury rentals?
Yeah, I just googled like exotic car rental, Durham, North Carolina, or Raleigh or whatever,
Yeah.
and Soto, you can look at Go Exotics, and they do a bunch of rentals, and they're down near us. But Randy, I don't know, is like partnered with them, so they have some like Lamborghinis and stuff like that.
What? Well, I tell you, I'm on the right team, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm on the right team, man.
No cars found.
So why is Jeff wearing a chef's hat? Are you cooking us up something?
They had Lamborghini in LA.
My conversation? Can you not see me?
No.
Now you're there. You were in a chef's hat for a moment there. I didn't know if you were cooking us something up for cars and coffee and.
And I'm trying to get onto my computer, and every time I go to my computer, I get the unstable connection. So here I am on my little screen.
That's good.
I've been working in kitchens for coming up on 19 years now. So when I'm not breathing in car fumes and what have you, and trying to be the next biggest YouTuber next to Pat over here, I cook a little bit. It's kind of my side hobby.
Breathing in.
Are you in Bel Air also, Jeff?
No, I'm in PA, Pennsylvania.
Oh, you're in Pennsylvania. Okay, just Thick is in Bel Air.
Right.
Yeah. I'm close enough, so I can get to Pat or Soto in an hour and 15. Wouldn't be that much of a schlep.
Yeah, well, actually, me, Thick, and Pat are in Bel Air. We're all actually in Bel Air. You know what I'm saying?
Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Bel Air, man. I tell you, it's a great place, man, where you can just relax. Everybody's nice and calm and cool. You can just walk your dog, walk your cat, and you won't have any problems.
Yeah,
So
Jeff.
down the Huracan, for 4 hours it's 700. For 24 hours it's 1,500.
Yeah, forget that.
Reasonable.
That's a drop in the bucket.
Huh?
That's out of my range. Way out.
To rent it?
That's way out. Yes. For 4 hours?
700 for 4 hours.
I gotta have it for the day.
That's 1,500.
That's the payment right there.
How much does it cost if I go on their lot and do a video on their lot?
Why don't you just take your car to their lot, since yours is an exotic, and say, why don't you take mine for the day and I'll take yours for the day?
So it's not that crazy of an idea. If you walk in, talk to a sales guy and say, I'm really considering looking for a car, they're not going to give it to you for the whole day, but they may give you like half an hour of it, have some, just see how you fit, see how you go, you're a real buyer. It would look a lot different, and I hate saying it like this, but if I were to show up in a car with 230,000 miles, the four-door, micro sedan, it's going to look a lot different than, hey, let's bring the i8 up to the shop. And let's use, Pat and Rebecca, if they were to show up in the Jetta or show up in the i8, the sales guy is going to look at them differently. They shouldn't, and that's something I myself am very against in all of my customer service experience. You never know what kind of piggy bank is in the trunk of that car. Treat them with the same respect. But give your local dealership a call and be like, hey, here's who I am. Here's what I've got. here's who I'm rolling with, and I'm really considering taking that leap. You know, you'd be like, I've got a 3-cylinder, and I'd like to get a 10-cylinder. See how that, play it up with them a little bit.
But look, I didn't ask for the 12. I could have asked for the 12 cylinder. I'm just asking for the 10 cylinder. That's all.
Exactly. You got to start it slow.
Yeah.
You don't like the Mercy?
Nah. I think I'm really fixed on the Aventador, but here and pockets wise, I know that I feel comfortable with what we're seeing in the used market for the Huracan 610.
The prices
Around
of
160,
Mercies are good.
170. The what?
The prices of used Mercies.
Like 130.
Yeah, but I like the body style more of the Huracan and the Aventador. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of
Got
the day,
scissor doors.
the who?
The scissor doors.
The
Yeah.
doors go up.
Mercy.
Yeah.
That's the kicker, man. I love the doors. But think about it. I wonder, would I really be bothered? You're in a Lamborghini, right? Would it matter? What do y'all think? Does that really?
I like doors that go up.
I love the doors that go up. I'm just saying. Would that matter though? If I was in a Huracan, the body style, if I pull up in a Lamborghini Huracan.
How would you feel not having doors that go up, where you would just open a door like a regular person? That's what matters. How you would feel.
Yeah, that's why I need to rent one.
Yeah.
And it's not about people. Trust me, it's not about nothing I do is about I'm getting it for somebody else. But I love the full experience. And I guess I messed up by getting a car that doors that come up so early. That's not an exotic.
It's an exotic. Yeah. Well, here's the thing, and even Duramax Country Boy said it. That's the beauty of rolling up in a vehicle that's like a crappy car. Here's the thing though, if you roll up into a Lamborghini dealership in a crappy car, I watched a video where one guy he tore like his shirt open. He was dirty. He walked in a Lamborghini dealership and they treated him just like everybody else. Like, hello, sir, and he bought the car cash. He had the cash to do it, but he literally did this to grab a video to say, this is me acting like a homeless guy when I walk in here. Let's see what happens. And they treated him nice, so it's good. But
Hey Pat, I'm sorry, real quick. I think in today's age, with so many people making money in so many different ways, the client in the suit and tie that comes in, that's the wrong way to look. You got to at least talk to this person first. It's only going to take you a few minutes to get to the discussion of buying and credit check, run credit type of conversation. So yeah, and with these young YouTubers, you got kids coming in 18 years old buying Lamborghinis and exotic cars. You can't look at them and say this kid's wasting my time.
right,
You better take the time and look at that customer as a customer, not as a stereotype, so to speak.
that's right.
And the problem there, I was watching a video yesterday. Ryan Scott from Pure Function did a live stream, and it was funny because this guy doesn't know how Instagram works, so watching him fight with his phone was mildly amusing. And he was answering a lot of questions. He's a big super guy, and you have the young kids going through the chat saying, "Oh, how do I buy one? Where do I get parts? Blah blah blah." And he says, these are the two guys who I deal with exclusively for car parts, car panels, service and maintenance, what have you. But he said, only call them if you have the money, if you're ready to make the commitment. And I think that's kind of what has steered the sales market a little bit, because the guys are afraid of having their time wasted. But like you're saying, with as the new tech and the YouTubes and all this young money, the sales guys have been forced to see that not everybody coming in to buy that Rolls Royce is going to come in a suit and tie. So they also have to, readjust to their audience and see who they're working with. So I think if we as the car people and Pat as the YouTube influencers really direct the audience, it's going to help out a lot, showing that you're not just going in to waste the time. You're going in to make an educated, experience for both yourself before you spend that big commitment money, but also the people that are going to follow what you're doing and follow in your footsteps with it.
Yeah.
Good point. Very, very valid point.
That Go Exotics, you said it's near you guys?
Yeah.
Pat? I was looking out there. Those guys are pretty young, those owners.
They
Yeah.
are.
And the cars. So they're in a joint like investor relationship with Savage as well. So it's like,
Okay.
Yeah,
yeah,
he just recently like backed like they were their own thing, and then he just recently backed them, because they got two new cars. They got the Urus and the other
the
Huracan,
Huracan.
yeah.
No.
But they're really nice guys, and um, they have an R8, and they're like, hey, next time we're on a rally, like we'll bring the R8, you can just drive it, and I'm like,
Yeah,
because
because
this is like my attainable dream car, or my first kind of dream car, and they were like, yeah, if you want to drive it anytime, just let us know, and we'll bring it on a rally that you're on, and just go at it. I'm like, what?
yeah, it's good to have connections.
That's the connector. That is the connector.
You're looking at.
I,
I
I
like the
tell
R8s
people,
too.
I tell people I'm like a box of Legos of all my connections.
Yeah,
None of the pieces fit together. I can't dig through all the colors and see what needs done.
yeah, you got a lot of connections though, Jeff.
It's,
The R8s
I,
are not bad.
I think part of it is that I'm not afraid to just like dive in and have a conversation. And like I've mentioned in weeks past, I've probably like slid into some stuff where I probably shouldn't have been, but it's gonna be a no if I don't try. So I'm gonna give it a shot. I went to Motorama a couple years ago, and it's just about you present yourself just right. Oh, my whole crew is back there in the far corner. I gotta go ahead, sir. Go meet them. No big deal. So
What else you see in Soto?
The R8 Spider's not bad. It's $850 for 24 hours.
Yeah, and I know a lot of the companies right now are doing like COVID discounts essentially because not as many people are renting cars. So,
that's what Houston was saying that the amount of money that they're not bringing in because they're not renting out cars, it's like, do I just shut down the business and start something not car related? Because there's your revenue is not just cars sitting on a lot. It's depreciation, maintenance, service, blah 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 blah. So they got to keep moving. So that's kind of cool. So here's a question for the five of you, and this is one that I keep being hit with by my uncle. He currently has, Rebecca mentions the R8. He has a 2015 right now. V8, manual transmission, gated shifter, black on beige, black side blades, chrome wheels. He's looking at selling it and getting a 2020 V10 R8. Doesn't have the third pedal, has two more cylinders. It's also, like E-Vapors is talking about, it's a little bit more cash outlay. What would you guys do in a situation like this? If you were either keeping one or making that giant leap to the next?
I guess I'll go first because, I mean, the R8's kind of my thing. So typically, I know it wouldn't surprise me that somebody's going from the V8 to the V10 because R8s are typically your kind of entry level supercar. They're kind of on that fine line of they have the power of a supercar, they have the price of a supercar, but they're still kind of at the lower end. So it's pretty common a lot of people get into an R8, especially the V8s, and they find that they want something more. So that's typically you start in an Audi R8 and then you go into like a Lamborghini or a Ferrari, something with a little bit more oomph to it. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case, if he's feeling like, okay, this was fun, but I want something with more oomph to it, more power, more speed. I mean, if he's had it for however long, a few years, 5 years, I think at that point you've probably outgrown the car skill-wise. And it's a great car. I mean, they're holding their value fairly well, given the fact that out of all the cars out there, they're not a $300,000-$400,000 car. So I mean, I think that would be a good, especially a gated manual. There's not a ton of those out there, especially a later model year. You see more, the 09s, early teens, but typically not as many. like more recent years. So I mean, I think that right there is a selling point.
I think that's where he's held up on it. Where Eric, I can't think of the guy's last name, that Tavares just rebuilt his car.
Mm-hmm.
His was the last manual off the line. I think my uncle's had to have been in the last 25. So in terms of, collector piece, one of the last, one of the, they're never going to build that again. There's the art and the passion behind it. But like you said, it's the entry-level car. You outgrow it. The V10 is that next jump off. But you didn't answer the question here. Would you keep the V8 or would you go to the V10?
I mean, I think, well, one, I don't think it's going to become a collector's item or anything like that, especially depending on how many miles he has on it. I think there's too many. 500?
2,500.
Oh, 2,500. Wow,
Yeah.
okay. I mean,
That affects depreciation.
it affects depreciation, but I can't see the R8 becoming a collector item.
No.
So I mean, I think at that point, yeah, he might have had fun with the manual, but I think the fun you would have with the manual V8 versus the automatic V10, I think he's gonna have more fun with the V10. So I think he should sell the V8 to us,
Hey,
to me for a good deal, and then get that V10.
I'll tell you the cash price off the air.
Okay, DM me. I'm waiting for it right now. But no, if it was me, I mean, I would say, the improvements in technology and horsepower are enough to say, get rid of the old and get the new. It's still, the 2015 is still way too new to be a classic car, and it's way too
Common.
not common. I want to say that it's not. It's the perfect discount for somebody who wants to get into the supercar
The
realm.
status, the status level isn't with it as much.
Most supercar owners look at it and go, oh, okay, this guy wants to be in the supercar realm, but I mean, it's just an Audi. That's typically what the Lamborghini and the Ferrari guys see when they see an Audi guy pull up. But I can appreciate the Audi. I love it. She loves it, but it's like it doesn't have the desirability, so it's hard for somebody to just jump and say, yeah, I'm definitely. A gated manual Audi is definitely what I want, whereas a gated manual Mercy is always going to be desirable. And I don't see it in the Audi.
Pat, on something you just said, and I can envision you guys pulling up in your R8 that y'all bought, y'all super proud of, you're happy, smile on your face, and you just said something. When you pull up, those smug guys in the elite supercars are gonna look at y'all differently. Like, would that really happen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, y'all need to move down here. Because if you pull up in an R8, everybody's going to want to talk to you.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the R8 still gets the R8 still gets attention. You can still take it to Cars and Coffee, and your average person's still gonna go, this thing looks nice, this thing looks good, but it's the people who, and I don't think it's intentional. I don't think it's as much of a like it's an Audi. I think it has to do with the fact that when you look at the true car people who are in it for the performance, they see that and they see the price and the cost, like what you get from an R8 versus a Lamborghini, and I think that's where it becomes, yeah, you shelled out some money and it's good that you're interested, but the value, you don't get the value, and I think that's where it comes down to is yeah, it's cool, you want to do this stuff, but at the same time, like, if they're true car people, I think it's less to do of the brand and more the performance.
Well, no, I mean, I think most of y'all probably know. I mean, the stuff that's shared between the R8 and like the Huracan.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's the same car.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So you really can't put yourself on a high horse with that Lamborghini, knowing what is shared between the R8 and the Huracan.
It don't matter.
It's
it don't
the
matter.
brand.
It
is.
It's the branding. It's the branding more than anything else. And it's the people who are like, I have the money, I'm going to buy a Lamborghini. I don't care if it's just an Audi with a different body on it. It's the same with the Urus. Like that's a Q8.
No, the R
No, it's a Q. It's a
Yeah,
Q8.
Yeah, something like that.
The Q8.
Yeah, it's the same car.
It's the Q8 and I can't think of the Volkswagen one, and it's another 150 grand, let's say, to go into the Lambo. But Audi teased us a couple months ago with the RSQ8 in that
RSQ8,
color, which I would take my money and go with the Audi over the Lambo for that one, just because of the look of it. And to piggyback on what Rebecca was saying, it's then, you're weighing what's your money getting you and what's your performance getting you and what's the look and the feel and all the above. But I think, I like what you're saying. North Carolina sounds very enticing, rolling up and everybody come on, welcome in. That's a new car. We love it.
You pull up in the R8 down here, there's nobody going to look at you any kind of way at all. You Tony Starks or Mrs. Starks. You the star of the show. You just stole the show. Like, and that's regional, of course. Because think about it. I look at those big YouTubers out in LA, and they got P1 pulling up. They got chrome wraps, Aventadors pulling up. So I get that out there, but I'm thinking that's more because that's Hollywood and there's so much money out there. But I guess there's money everywhere.
I mean, but in like the DMV area, there's a lot of money. There's a lot more than you expect. And I mean, even like near Soto, there's not a whole ton out in Bel Air. It's a lot of cornfields, but there's a lot of very old money out there. So you go up to Hunt Valley Horsepower, and there's Ferraris you would never expect. I mean, I grew up out there, and it literally drive your tractor to school kind of day, like cows got loose, recess is canceled area, and you never would know, but there's a Ferrari hidden in a garage 2 miles from your house. Like, it's old money.
Well, I think that gives people, and I don't want to pigeonhole us, that gives people like us who are not in that upper echelon of daily driving a T1. Same thing here in Harrisburg. Up until I learned about supercars on State Street and started learning who a lot of these owners were, it's okay, there's a Toyota Camry driving down the street, and they're like, wait a second, that's just your grocery getter? Like, you have this tucked away in the garage? But there's a lot of it. There's a lot in the area.
Yeah.
I just think you don't see it advertised as much. And I mean, I think now with like YouTube and with having Savage in the area and what's the brothers near Gaithersburg?
I forget them. Yeah.
Yeah, like that's becoming advertised more, so you're seeing that more often. But still,
they're out of Maryland?
I don't know who it is. I can't remember
their name.
They're a singing group, right?
The what?
JR Garage?
No.
No. It's some group of brothers.
But
and
they made their money singing, I think.
Yeah, they were in TikTok and stuff like that.
That's right.
But
I don't remember.
Not talking about TikTok combined.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I'm judging me here.
But yeah, it doesn't, like, you're parked there with the I-8 and then a guy in a super fast pulls up next to you and parks, and it's like, it's amazing what pulls into like Hunt Valley.
Yeah.
And you really can't, at that point, it's like, why did I even bother coming, I mean, it's cool to see other people's cars, but it's like, well, dang.
Ferrari parked right next to me. I'm like, why did he have to park right next to me?
So I mean, I think there's a lot of appreciation in the area for the not, the elite, your Lamborghinis, your Ferraris. You still see like a Lotus, and people are gonna go to that, and they appreciate that.
And the classics.
And there's a lot of classics, and you see that, and I think there's a good mix depending on where you go. But like, if you rolled up to like Katie's in an R8, you're not gonna get as much. It's not negative response, but it's a lot different than rolling up to Hunt Valley or to a smaller, or to Lancaster. Where the money's not there, where you're only seeing something like that because you're going to this. You're
Yeah.
not just driving down the road like normal and there's a Lamborghini and there's a Ferrari and there's a McLaren, that sort of thing.
We take the I-8. Yeah, we've taken the I-8 to Katie's and got no attention at all. I mean, it's how it is.
Wow.
Yeah,
Like that.
it's big.
You
Yeah.
rarely see. There's a few R8s in Harper County, but you see them in the middle of summertime here and there. Otherwise they're in the garage. And I've seen 3 Lamborghinis. Evan's friend that he goes to high school with, his dad keeps it in the garage. It does not move until I guess July.
Until the
Wow.
weather's perfect.
Perfect.
What?
On that note, Rebecca, Lancaster, they did their cruise today for, I want to say police.
Yeah.
Police. They had over 600 cars show up for their cruise today.
Yeah. I saw that. I saw Sean's post and I was like, wow. That was awesome.
That's a lot of cars, and it was all kind of cars. It wasn't just high-end stuff. I mean, everybody drove what they had. Everybody's got cabin fever. They really want to get out to these car events.
It would have been nice to go, but that's such a hike.
Yeah.
It's a long drive. Yeah.
Yeah, my car's sitting in the garage curing its ceramic coat, so it's not going anywhere. And the next step, just ceramic coated some of the bits and pieces, and I want to get it up on the jacks. Take the wheels off, take the wheel wells off, and then get in there with a steamer and steam like suspension parts. So I'll probably be doing a video on that, on how to keep your I-8 clean from the inside out.
Can you?
Rebecca, you might want to hide that ceramic coat from him.
I know. I need to.
She's gonna be ceramic coated.
What was the question, Jeff?
When you have that all taken apart, everybody talks about ceramic coating the outside, ceramic coating the wheels, even some on the windshield. Can you do springs, suspension, shocks, frame? Like, can you the
Yes.
whole thing?
Yes, because we did all the glass, and we because the Avalon King that I use, you could put it on anything, plastic, like carbon fiber itself, but yeah, anything that's metal or painted. So what I learned is, and I learned this from watching Normal Guy Supercar, like he had his 458 lifted, and he had sent his wheels off to be redone. And then when his wheels got done, he needed tires. But then the whole epidemic happened and he got slowed down and he had nothing to do. So he literally did that. He took all the stuff off and he cleaned it up and ceramic coated like his springs and his A-arms and everything. And it's like, I have all this Avalon King left over. Why not just use
You
it?
don't have it all left over.
No, he did.
Oh, he did.
I'm talking about his story.
Yeah.
What was the application process like?
Very easy. So it's almost like water. So you're dripping. You have a block, a very small block, and a piece of microfiber suede that you put over this block. And the reason is to keep it flat so that you don't have high spots because it'll distort the depth. So you just sprinkle this on, and you just go over a section that's 2 by 2. So you go one way, and then you cross hatch it. And you move slow, and then you go again, you do the same thing again, and then the same thing again, and then you wait depending on the temperature. So in my garage it's about 70 degrees. You wait about 2 minutes, and then you use a thick microfiber cloth and you buff it off. And then if you wait another hour or two, you can put a second coat over that spot. So we worked out a good way of doing this where we got music playing in the background, and I'm working on certain sections, and she's counting the number of songs that are going by, and then she'll start and then catch up to me so that I can just do the whole car and then she can catch up. But I have to tell her like what sections I've worked on so she knows where to wipe it off. But you have to wait at least a day before it gets rain on it. So at the bare minimum, you can put one coat on the car and wait a day. Now, we put one coat on the truck, but I decided with the I-8 to put 2 coats on. And the reason is it does give it a little bit more of a thickness, but you can't like keep piling it up. It does give a little bit better depth of gloss, definitely. And honestly, the only thing you really have to do is clay bar the vehicle and then go over it with isopropyl alcohol and then do the ceramic coat. But we decided to do the whole paint correction to make sure that it was looking the way we want it to before we applied it. So it's super easy.
So when you're doing that 2x2, visually you look at your hood, you can break it down into your sections, and here's block 1. What happens if you have an overlap between this section and that section?
It's okay.
It's inevitably going to happen.
Yeah.
But
it's okay because it doesn't create, it's not optical enough to see that you're going to have a ridge. And because this section's still wet when you work on this section, you're going to have, a blending. Whereas, let's say you let this section dry for a day, and now you're going to work on the next section, there's a potential that you're going to have some problem there. So, yeah, literally, you can't tell. It's almost like putting wax on a car. It's honestly easier to put wax on a car because you don't have that haze, the push and polish as much.
How's it compared to like the Meguiar's, that spray-on stuff you spray on while that hybrid ceramic wax that they had?
So the amount of silicone that's in the spray hybrid wax is so low that it wears off quicker than this. So this has like 80% silicone oxide in it, as well as other chemicals that aid in its bonding ability to bond with the paint. So the thing with, for example, the hybrid ceramic, I believe that they say it actually works better if the car is wet first and then you spray it on.
Yep.
So it's a different, it's clearly a water-based product, and water and silicone don't mix anyway. So you have other things in there to help make it work. So it does provide you with a slick surface. It does work, but it will not give you the longevity. So I'm going to have a 2-year longevity with this Avalon King. It's guaranteed for 2 years. Now, if I park the car indoors, I keep the car clean, it may last longer than that. And some of these places like Ceramic Pro will give you like a 10-year warranty or guarantee. It's not that the product's going to last 10 years. It's just you're paying so much for it that you're paying for reapplications between now and 10 years down the road. But pretty much it's all the same stuff. It's different. It's mixed differently. There's different things that happen with it. So.
Because hearing you talk about doing yours and watching what the two of you had to struggle with to get through all the contours, like number one, again, I'm not an i8 owner, but watching your video, like, not that it makes me glad that I don't own one because I'm not the best with the wash and wax on mine, but there are so many cuts and crevices and like deep little pockets all over that it's like, yeah, I'm just gonna buy a Volkswagen Bug because it just, a solid shape.
Yeah.
But I keep talking about doing mine, and for me to get it right, I'd either have to do a full respray and then a paint correction, or just do a front to back, top to bottom reapplication of all of my my body parts. Things don't line up right, blah blah, and then wrap it and then do the coating.
Right.
But one of the VinWiki sponsor companies, not Avalon King, I want to say it was Glass Parency.
Yes.
So you can buy the kit for like $15, or for $100, they're gonna send a guy out, like, match the whole thing up, do all the work for you, and it's like, am I Pat and Rebecca? Do I want to risk it and try it, or just have the pro do it professionally? And it's it goes both ways. Or one, like, it gets done, it's got the warranty and it works, and one is I gotta learn how to do it. And my only concern with me myself is I've seen some guys that have had to buff through the ceramic to change something when they messed it up and then reapply it, and it's a struggle.
Yeah. So, well, I bought the Glass Parency kit. Okay, so I saw VinWiki. I saw Ed, say if you click the link below, it's free. You just have to pay for shipping. So I bought one kit, but I got it just in case I want to use it. But with the Avalon King, I can put that right on the windshield. But here's the thing: any type of product that is sold to a consumer is done so that the consumer can screw it up and not have it actually show. If it's a professional thing, like if it's a professional ceramic coat, it doesn't, let's say for example, it's a heavier material, it's thicker, more viscous. So it may take a while. You really got to time it right. If you don't take it off, you're going to have high spots and leveling issues. With the consumer product, you shouldn't have that. You read the instructions, it says do this, just do it.
I mean, like he was working on it, and I came back from the horse farm, and there was a spot he forgot to buff off, like a big spot on the door.
On the i8.
On the i8.
And it was all hazy. And we just went to wipe it off with the microfiber and wouldn't go.
I mean, it was
like,
kind of, but it was like not that bad, but it wasn't really wiping. And like Avalon King, all you do is you put a little bit of the fresh stuff on it, you just wipe over it, and then you buff it off again. Like they've kind of made it foolproof. The biggest thing is, as long as you catch it within a few hours, unless you're doing it outside on a 90-degree day in the direct sunlight, which
you shouldn't
do it anyways.
Okay.
But if you're doing inside your garage, especially now when the temperature is kind of cooler, the cooler the temperature, the longer you have time to play. You have that room for error. So, 60, 70-degree garage, you're going to have 5 or 6 hours before you've really, really, hit that point of time where you're kind of SOL.
Yeah, I have so much paint correction to do my car before I can even get into that.
On your white one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's just so much road rash on the front bumper. I don't even know how to touch that up. I don't know where to start.
What's wrong with the front bumper?
Road rash.
Just a road rash from, rocks hitting.
Oh, yeah.
Especially down where like the fog lamps are, like that little white area down in there.
Yes.
There's so many dots.
Honestly, there are 2 YouTube channels that I spent a whole lot of time on learning how to do this kind of stuff. Rock Chips, number 1, MONYC. Actually, it's his channel for both. He demonstrated a bunch of different methods, and I use the Dr. Color chip, which I think is great for touching things up. But you can take that and pour it into another device that literally, if you just touch, what you want to do is just create enough surface tension that paint just fills that hole. But here's the thing, you can play and try it. If you don't like it, you get some lacquer thinner on a rag and wipe it off. Let it dry. Try it again. And that's the neat thing about it is, especially with your car, being it's white, you'd be able to try to fill that chip. And if it doesn't look perfect, wipe it off. So, I honestly would give it a try. If conditions were much better, I'd come over and help you out and say, here, this is the way you want to do it. If we could actually get together, and I'd be happy to collab with you if you like, but it's not that hard. It's not that hard.
And I have the paint, the BMW paint, the touch-up.
Perfect. So the neat thing about the BMW paint from BMW is that it is a higher quality paint than the Dr. Color chip, but the bad thing is it dries quicker. So if you screw up, if you don't get it right, then it gets all weird and deteriorated. So you got to go over it with lacquer thinner and then try it again. But the Dr. Color chip stuff I seem to like better because it's thinner and it flows better. And because it's thinner, as it evaporates, it gets like a concavity to it so that you can apply another coat and then try to get it to even out. Whereas with the BMW stuff, it's designed to be like any normal off the manufacturer provided touch-up. When you apply it, it may do this, and then it'll crater in the middle as well. So then you're stuck with masking around it and then wet sanding it to try to get it flat. It's so much more difficult that I would just spend the money on the Dr. Color chip kit and say to heck with the BMW kit. Send them your paint code, let them provide you with it. It's just easier to work with.
Well, that's kind of where I'm at with it. I know that my front bumper has, again, at 230,000 miles, I've got more than just a couple rock chips and some speckles. But even more of an issue, and again, it goes back to me and my fault for not properly watching it at regular maintenance levels, other than when it went to the dealership every 7,000 miles. But I got hit by some nuclear bird poop that has gone right through the clear coat, right through, and it's just like, so it needs more than just, a little bit of touch-up paint here and there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Either, a full wrap or a full respray. And I for sure don't want to do the ceramic on top of, these giant pigeonholes, literally pigeonholes.
Yeah, once you have bird dirt eat into paint, at that point it's a sanding down job. It's literally getting yourself, a couple different grits of wet sandpaper, and starting off with a coarse one and then going over with a less coarse and a less coarse and then a compound and a polish. And I've done that. I've had to do it, especially when I made the engine cover. Uh, when I took the carbon fiber, when we worked on that and then applied the coating to it, and then we put a clear coat on the top of that, it didn't turn out well, and I had to go through the process of wet sanding it down and then buffing it out just to get it to shine. And if you have a piece of test material to try that on, then you start to realize it's not that difficult to do. And in fact, I had to do that with one of the touch-up spots on the i8. I had to mask it off and hit it with some uh, low grit sandpaper. Put it over the eraser of a pencil and just take it and slowly work back and forth just to try to level a paint correction, a paint chip that I was correcting. So and there it is. It stands right out in the front of the i8, but I want to make it look better. I don't want to spend thousands of dollars having somebody say, "Oh, you just need to have that resprayed." No, it's a driver. So,
I think
Even with the 3000 grit, with 3000 grit, use some like what do you call it? Quick detailer spray it, or soapy water.
soapy water. Yeah. So you want a bucket. You want a bucket.
Grit,
Yeah.
and then you go back with 5000.
Well, I start with 800, then 1500, then 3000, then compound, then polish.
I think my biggest concern, and again, I tend to hold on to things that have scared me, and I have issues letting them go. And when I was a kid, I don't know, 17, 18, I was gifted unrestricted access to a 1992 Volvo 940 Turbo Fast. This is the kind of car Dan should get for his beater. And it started having some paint issues up on the roof. Ran out to AutoZone, whatever it was, picked up a little bucket of compound, and I'm there like standing on a ladder up on the roof, my head out the sunroof, like, and I stripped so much paint off of this car and did it so bad, and I'm like, uh-oh. So I go to my buddy who's his family owns the Carlisle Fairgrounds. I'm like, Bill, man, what'd I do wrong? He's like, oh, you bought this kind of compound, not that kind of compound. And I bought, I guess, like pre-spray, strip everything off compound. And I was just like down to bare metal. And I'm like, okay, I'm not doing this one again. Yeah, it's not a good situation.
You don't have YouTube videos to help you back then like you do now. That's the difference.
I mean, yeah.
And that's the saving grace with it is, again, back to Ryan Scott. He built his Supra with no mechanical background. Like he was a design drafter, I think, so he understands mechanics. It's okay. I want to put this in. Type. Push play. Let me watch it 3 more times in slow motion. And you can do the whole thing. You can build it from top to bottom. I think it's just, I've got to jump off the ledge and be comfortable doing it. And if that means my buddy owns a body shop. So if I call him up and say, like, hey, can I take a body panel that you just pulled off of the wrecked car and just try the lower quarter panel, see what that's like and try it. Or you mind if I sit in the body shop for a couple of days and watch? I might have to wear a giant respirator because they don't have windows or air handlers and it gets kind of foggy in there. But maybe I'll try it.
Try it.
I mean, I feel like nowadays, from what you've said, from his past experiences doing paint correction and stuff like that, the products are there's a lot more out there and they're a lot more forgiving. So like the first time I did paint correction was on the truck, and I mean after an hour or so I was comfortable, like I was comfortable enough to the point where I'm like, okay, yeah, let me go, I'm gonna do this, I compounded that, and I mean I'll have to send you pictures and stuff, like it was bad, I mean really bad. And even like I felt to the point, okay, after doing the truck, I felt comfortable enough to do the i8, and like the hard parts of the i8, so like the black part on the back of it, on the rear end, weren't clear coated. So I had to be very kind of creative with how, okay, this needs compound, but I can't just compound it because it's going to haze up and it's going to take off a bunch of paint. So, okay, instead of me using a hand applicator, I'm going to use the foam applicator off the, the off the buffer, do that by hand, and like you just play around with it. But the products are so forgiving.
They are.
That for you to like eat through your clear coat, you'd have to sit there with your buffer, super high grit
for
at
an
the
hour.
highest speed, and
for
just
an hour.
and slam down and just push on it with all your weight. Like you wouldn't be able to do it.
And the thing is too is today's buffers are the dual action buffers are not like the rotary buffers of years ago, where the rotary would just spin in place. It would gain so much heat. And your RPM really, really would take a lot of material off very, very quickly. I learned on a rotary. I learned on a rotary with a wool pad and Meguiar's number 2 that when you poured it on your hand and went like this, it was actually so gritty you could feel the grit in it.
I've got one of those sitting in my parents' basement. It's an orbital with the wool.
Yep.
And my uncle's like, that's not just spinning. Like, there's science behind that. And I'm like, okay. It sat in the basement until we had a flood 5 years ago, and they finally threw it out.
Yep.
Never used it.
So today's dual action buffers, even if you buy a cheap Griot's Garage buffer at AutoZone, is so forgiving because it's only providing this action in the buffer, and then the pad freewheels in a circle. So you don't have the rotary constantly pushing against the paint. You just have this motion, which is just like you going like that, wax on, wax off type of deal. It's just that when you apply too much pressure, the pad stops spinning. When you bring it away from the paint with less pressure, the pad starts spinning. And then you're like, that's the sweet spot. That's what I want to get. Not enough pressure that the pad doesn't spin. I want just enough that the pad spins on its own. And then you use a product like Meguiar's 110 and 210 for compound and polish, and just a compound pad and a polish pad, and that's it. And even if you use a microfiber pad, it'll cut more, but it's a foam pad won't even cut like a microfiber pad will cut. And once you learn from the web, and I learned from Ammo NYC, he had a guy come on there, goes by Buff Daddy, and he did a whole, I forget what he called it, but it was a whole educational series on what happens to paint and what you need to do in order to repair that paint. So, we got someone in chat here. You gotta go
get the cat.
Yeah.
I gotta get the cat. Okay, hold on.
So I don't know who this person is actually, because I can't understand because it's a foreign language to me. But they are always commenting. So I have some cats in my videos, and of course. So we're bringing the cat in, and people say this cat is precious. Well, that was her name when I adopted her, but she goes by Girly. So you got to bring the cat in.
He's the one who has the opinions on Savage Garage videos, right?
This cat loves Savage Garage videos, and I don't understand it. But when Savage is on, she just spends a whole lot of time looking at what's happening on the screen. I don't know what it is.
It's because
like Randy's beard.
it's Jimbo's editing, because Jimbo has a cat, so Jimbo must know how to edit for cats.
There's subliminal messaging in the videos.
So yeah, Kitty had to come in here and say hi. All right, so enough about paint correction.
So here's a big question, and I know we've touched on this one in the past, I think. But in watching the latest VinWiki yesterday, it was the what are you going to buy for $1 million?
Oh. Well, I would take, if I had $1 million, I would invest half of it in mutual funds and give it to my friend Samir, and then I would take the other half. All right, never mind. What would you do with $1 million, Soto?
What would I do with $1 million?
A car. This is not money for your wife, not money for your kids.
Oh.
This is to spend on you.
Oh.
Any car that you want.
I would invest it so I could have $2 million to spend on cars.
And I want to
Trying
thank
get the e-vapors to invest it.
E-Vapors is already investing. He already dropped $1.99 in response to my suggestion for Premier Financial Services. I
give it
thank
to
you
them.
very much. This is an honest appreciation here. But yeah, he just dropped $1.99 in my feed here because I can monetize. Thank you, Eric. Sorry, go on. I just got interrupted real quick by that.
I mean, I've always liked Lambos. I mean, I'm with e-vapors, man. I love that. And an R8. I love Audis.
But like, you would buy a modern car and only spend 300 or 400 of that million.
Yeah, and then the rest mod it.
Okay.
I make it savage material.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you're not gonna get just gonna be out the door Lamborghini. It's not gonna have all the bells and whistles that you can add on, the wheels, all the wrap,
Yep.
the aerodynamics, spoilers.
Yeah.
No fast parts.
Now you're talking things. That's what I like to hear that Lamborghini talk, man.
How much is a Bugatti? I like Bugattis. How much do they go for?
They're going for $1 million.
I think in the Veyron world, your service is $30,000 to $50,000 a year. If you get in the Chiron world, you're spending more to bring the car home for using regular Michelin tires. You don't need to have your tires glued to the rims. The service is a lot different. So
On the Bugattis?
yeah. Okay, Eric, what are you getting? $1 million.
$1 million. I'm definitely getting the Aventador SVJ. I'm going all the way in with the SVJ. But even saying that, actually, if I wanted to stretch the money, because I would want to stretch the money, even inside just car, I could still go with Huracan. But I saw, what's the guy's name? Vehicle Virgins. So he had, I think I don't know if he still has it or not, but he had a green one, but he had a supercharger on it. So he was getting 804 horsepower. So whatever, I was trying to Google what supercharger he had on there, and some of the superchargers I saw were like $30,000.
Want a lot of that money is because you're not buying a supercharger. It's hey, you're a speed shop and you make superchargers, and my car doesn't have one yet, so let's make one.
Yeah, I saw.
Yeah,
but I saw some of them for like $35,000 for a supercharger to go on the Huracan. But yeah, it's got to be Lamborghini, like Dick said, man. We talking about with the money. Oh, it's unlimited. I got $1 million. Oh, I'm gonna go, and I still could go used. I don't have to go brand new. I'm still gonna be a smart shopper, like Dick said, so I can add to it. I don't have to impress anybody by driving off the lot and getting hit on the depreciation. Let me go ahead and find that 2017, 2018 Huracan that I can make my own with my own personality, with the crazy grab, and have money left over. But that Aventador, it will be less money left over out of that million. So yeah, give me the Huracan, and maybe we'll get the doors up some kind of way, man. Maybe there'll be a project for Thick Garage, man.
Yeah, you need YouTube content. You need to do some mods to it.
There you go. So we start with the Huracan, and we put a supercharger on that thing. We put the wrap on there. We get the clear coat, and we do all that cool week by month YouTube stuff, man. And we'll be right behind Pat's channel, man, in popularity, and we'll surpass them just a little bit once we get all the mods done to the Huracan, just by nose, by the bull on the hood.
I would. So I'd get a few things because I'd be smart about my money. Get an R8, and then I can't remember where it is, but down in Texas or something, you can pay like $100,000, $150,000, and they'll bump it up to like 2,000 horsepower. So it'll smoke absolutely anything out there. And at that point, you're still in under 300 or probably 400,000, right? Depending on how new of a car you get. So at that point, I still have like $600,000 left. So at that point, I probably get like an Aventador SVJ or something. But you gotta have the R8 that is like modded to hell. That way, you can just crush anything out there.
Wow. Yeah.
Pagani. If I can get anything, probably Pagani. I just think they look really wild. So let's see. Let's see if I can throw one up here as a.
Yeah, give me a picture because I don't have a visual of it right now.
Yeah, let me give you.
Virtual background.
Yeah, choose this virtual background. Let me get this off of the
So
screen.
there are a couple nice ones in the Pagani world. The problem there is, like, it's a rolling work of art, which I can appreciate, but it's almost too beautiful to drive.
What?
At certain degrees. Um,
I mean, a Pagani's too much of a collector's piece. You would never drive it. Like,
so that's a crazy thing. For Cannonball a couple years ago.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. There's a
Go
guy
over a little
on,
bit more.
on
I'm
Instagram,
over.
Okay, so you
Parky
can see the back.
and VTM the King, and they have 3 of them. And they came to Hershey, and I happened to be outside at the right time and said, "Hey, do you mind if I sit in it?" He's like, "Yeah, sure, no problem." Like, here I am sitting in this $1.5 million car,
Whoa.
and it feels incredible. Feels like the whole thing feels great, but it's just like, okay, it's a lot of money. Am I going to get the enjoyment out of it? So, it's a V12, hand built by the guy by AMG. They're gorgeous. They really are. Now I want one. But it's like, it's a lot of money to go towards something. I think, again, I think in that realm of world, because you're spending all your money on the car, you've tied up everything you can. So is there a ceramic pro? Is there a wrap? Is there anything? Is there a second set of wheels and tires just in case? I don't know.
So what is that car that Rebecca's friend has? That something about an egg?
Oh, the Koenigsegg.
I'm new to that. Is that a company itself, or is who makes
Yeah.
it?
Yes.
So the whole story with Koenigsegg, there's a young man. He's probably 40, 45 now. I still say young.
That's young, yeah.
His name is Christian von Koenigsegg, Swedish fellow, and he was an entrepreneur since he was a kid, always doing selling stuff to buy the next big thing. Bought his own bike, built out his bike, blah blah blah. And he said, "I'm going to make my own hypercar company." That was like his dream and his passion. And I don't know where the initial financing came from, but if you Google the story, it's phenomenal. And he started out with a couple small scale designs, and I think even the first one, the doors didn't go out, just as like the rough dummy. But as life was happening, all the doors spin out and up. It's I get it wrong every time. Dihedral likes a round door opener system, and he did it. He went from having that dream to being and I'm very partial because I love my Swedish cars and I love his cars. His car is the world's fastest production car.
The doors come out like a transformer, like they come out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They come out, you push one button, the back opens, the front opens, and the doors open all robotically. Open, close.
Has your friend posted a video on his channel?
Say this? What?
Has Rebecca's friend posted a video on his channel of the car?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's 2 or 3 of them. The whole thing with that one, and a lot of people get very salty on that note, because Bugatti on paper has the record. Their car averaged over 300 for the Chiron Super Sport, but they took a seat out, and they lowered it, and they adjusted the weight, and they changed a whole bunch of things. So it's now no longer a true production car.
Right.
Whereas the Koenigsegg, it's on Instagram as like 277.79 or something. That's a personal car. The guy that owned it called up Koenigsegg and said, "Okay, let's break the record. Here's some money. Take my car, and we're gonna shut down the highway in Nevada." So it was a true production spec vehicle, not a bunch of corporate, shiny smoke to make it work. Again, the fact that the car broke 300, I give Bugatti and I give Volkswagen and I give all of their engineers a lot of credit. What's name? Larry from CF Charities is going to be taking that one soon, God willing, in his SSC. But Koenigsegg, look it up, read the story, go on Netflix. There's a whole documentary about it, and it's incredible.
So I was getting the people. Y'all know so many people. So I was thinking it was street speed at first. Now I'm looking at Randy.
Yeah.
Randy.
Yeah, Randy's got it.
Randy is Rebecca's friend.
I'm sure that Mike would want one, but I think Mike and Randy are in a whole different class of spending habits.
Well, hold on. How many? Okay, so Randy has Savage got like 300,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
But
the difference.
Randy had the money. He has it from his business. Like he has money versus Mike gets his money from YouTube.
Okay.
Mike has YouTube, and Mike really has the in-Shane business. So I don't want to say that he's a silent partner, but when I first met the whole crew, Shane was doing the wraps out of a very small shop, and I watched that grow out. And now that he's in a full-scale operation, all of their raffles and giveaways and this and that and the merchandising, it's all fun. The Jamera, phenomenal car. Thank you, Vic. It's a phenomenal system that they're running, but that's really only two business lines of revenue for Mike. Whereas in the Randy world, when you watch how Savage Garage works, and again, I'm making a full 1,000% assumption here. I would say the revenue that they bring in from the channel, goes back to building out the channel, covering Jimbo's, editing fees and blah 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 whatever else. I don't think a lot of that money is really going back into Randy's pocket to buy the Koenigsegg and the Mercy and the Countach and the SVJ and this one. And that man just has a horrific spending habit, and we all get the benefit because of it.
Yeah, not with 300,000 subscribers. Not all the cars you just named. That doesn't come from ad revenue.
He's a car collector, really.
The thing is, he's done this long before he had a YouTube channel. He always did these things. He's been on rallies long before he had a YouTube. It was decided that, hey, what you do is cool. The cars you have are cool.
You should have a YouTube
channel. So he's already had all this stuff. This is not built because of YouTube.
It's not just the cars that everybody thinks about. One of his prized possessions that doesn't get a lot of screen time is an old 1960s Volvo.
I've seen that one. It's super cool.
His parents had one as a kid, and he's like, "Well, I love that car," so he bought that car.
Yeah.
And it's not just, I'm only a Lamborghini guy, I'm only a Ferrari guy. He's a car guy.
Yeah.
If something really, is exciting for him, he's going to give it a shot.
Yeah.
He had the F12, 812 Superfast, whatever the.
He had the F12. He had the Berlinetta. He had the F12, but he's not really a Ferrari guy. But yeah, he's pretty much he buys a car, enjoys it, and then gets rid of it before the mileage gets too high that it depreciates. So he is enjoying the cars. A comment here from Duramax Country Boy. He said if he had $1 million, he'd buy a 2019 ZR1 and a brand new 2020 4800 Silverado crew cab and spend the rest on upgrades. So that's completely practical and completely smart because he can enjoy those cars for many, many years, not have to worry about as much depreciation than the Jamera over there. Now, are you familiar with the Jamera?
I have one thing I want to say. I lied. I can actually make my Audi R8 up to 3,000 wheel horsepower. So we'll just.
What?
You can. Yeah, there's upgrades.
Underground racing.
Yep. Are you familiar with the Jamera E-Vapors?
UGR is the way to go for the German V8s and V10s.
So the Jamera, which is on Soto's screen there, is a 3-cylinder hybrid with the doors that go up and has 4 seats. Now, does that sound familiar to you? That's a 3-cylinder mid-engine electric hybrid. It has doors that go up and has 4 seats. It's a concept car. It sounds just like an i8, but it'll. How many horsepower does that thing have?
Like 1,200.
Yeah, I don't know. It's some ridiculous amount. A lot.
Yeah, he's burning E85 fuel in it, or either that or pure ethanol.
There's a little bit of black magic in that car.
Yeah, but it's considered a hypercar, and I'm like, well, if that's the case, then I drive a hypercar.
It's okay. No, it's a 2-liter engine.
A 2-liter 3-cylinder.
3-cylinder.
Yeah, but it's twin turbocharged and it has 3 electric motors.
So one on each wheel in the front, and probably one to assist the.
Crankshaft.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But that's a concept car, and he'll probably get like $3 million for that. Well, no, actually, he wants only like 600,000 or 800,000 for that.
Did he?
Yeah, the Jesco is going to be like 2.5.
Okay.
I think the Gemera is supposed to be sub 1 million.
Okay.
Because it's supposed to, if I understand it correctly, really follow the Ferrari mindset, where the road cars are what are funding the bad habit of the race team. So they're going to be having the Gemera as the the everyday car, and then you're still going to have the exclusivity of the Jesco, the CCX XR, the Regera, the Agera, the this one, the that one, and they're going to keep those to a limited number. Where I think if anybody buys the Gemera, they're going to be able to order it.
I think this article says it's going to be as of March, early March. I don't know if there's been an update since then. Over $1 million, but it's a combined 1,600 horsepower, and it also has 8 cup holders because that's important.
But not in the doors, because you open the doors and your drink goes.
Well, that's because Paganis don't have cup holders, so they had to add the extra cup holders to show that they're better. There's a neat little bit of history in this car. If you look at the windows on the doors, the Subaru SVX with those little half doors, the half windows.
I got another picture for.
And while we're doing this, I'm just gonna chime in really quick because I'm not gonna be building my dream car out. I would have to get the Carrera GT, V10, manual transmission, race car through and through. Now we look at this gorgeous Regera on the screen. Thank you, Soto. A full exposed carbon fiber.
The tires.
Fiber wheels.
I'd have to put a transformer emblem on that thing.
That's the whole thing. The emblem that Koenigsegg uses, and again, E-Vapors, man, look up the company, watch all the history. There's so much behind this car. So the logo for Koenigsegg is actually Christian von Koenigsegg's family crest.
So like, it's a manual.
No, this one actually is a single gear.
No, Randy's car, the Koenigsegg.
Randy's is a manual transmission, 6-speed. This one is a dual sump, dual clutch, 1 gear linkage. Like when you look at the science behind this car and how much speed it can get and how much power it has, it does not work in your head. And they're like, you get in the car, you turn it on, and it goes. Rob Ferretti was able to drive one of the earlier models before the Regera in the bad weather, and it holds firmly planted. Like, it rock and rolls, no big deal. The car was designed, so if you could go to the back of the car a little bit, yeah, that's fine. So the car was designed to be a roadster. So when they were engineering the front trunk, that whole roof, I'm pointing, like you can see where my finger's pointing to. The roof is designed to fit inside that front trunk, and that way anybody can say, oh, it's nice out, I'm taking the roof out, but not have to leave it in their garage just in case it starts raining again.
Yep.
Yeah.
I get really excited when I talk about these cars, and I apologize to everybody listening, but it's such a phenomenal story. It's such a phenomenal vehicle that it just works. It just works. The key, there's 2 keys. One is like the main key that nobody ever uses.
And I have the other one.
What?
And I have the other one.
Yeah, right? It's the key is actually I'm going to try to make it. It's in the shape of the crest, whatever. Almost like a heart, yeah. And it rests in like the center console or in the back waterfall. And that one's like the fancy, haha, look at my Koenigsegg with all the buttons on it. A lot of the people who I know that have them have just kept that one in the safe, and they use the regular key for it because they're afraid to, bring this giant thing doesn't fit in your pocket. It's gorgeous. It really is.
There you go. Yep.
There it is.
And Country Boy says the only reason I know what you're talking about is the movie Need for Speed. I just
Yeah.
I know this from YouTube. I mean, that's the only way I learn about these things. I watch a lot of
Really?
car stuff. Yeah.
Oh, see, I've known about the Koenigsegg since Top Gear UK when it was at the very top of their power lap board, and none of them could spell Koenigsegg, so just like you have like the first half of it, and then it's just a whole bunch of random letters, and the magnet for it's so long it goes off their power lap board.
I got a picture of it.
It's an incredible machine. It really is and again, not to discuss Pagani in a negative way. Horatio Pagani also has a phenomenal story. That one is those are actual diamonds around the edge, Soto. Horatio Pagani used to work at Lamborghini. He did a lot of design work with them. Ended up making his own car company. I'm not saying that the Pagani vehicles are not going to hold their own around a track with the Koenigsegg, but it's a whole different caliber of vehicle. There's a lot of leather straps and a lot of pretty ornate aluminum on the Pagani, whereas in the Koenigsegg world, it's all milled this and carbon fiber that and very tight tolerances. Where did this picture come from, Soto?
I just Googled.
Okay.
Key.
Because that is actually a picture of the Jesko, or the Jesko in Swedish. And that car was named after Christian's father as an honor.
His Faja?
His Faja, yeah. When it was released, they actually did a Koenigsegg beer. If anybody watching this can get me a can, reach out. Through Pat's channel, keep the views coming through. But I would love a can for my liquor show.
Call Premier Financial.
Yeah, it might also come to liquors. Yeah, the Koenigsegg story, the Koenigsegg car. As much as I say the Carrera GT, it's really because that's the car that fits in that $1 million target. And not that I don't like the CCX. It's just I would like a CCX as well. Oh, you're killing me, Smalls. Look at this.
So this is go ahead.
The weird thing with the Pagani Huayra, and I love all the exposed mechanism. I'm not sure who did it first. If it was Pagani or if it was Spiker. Spiker was made in Dutch using the drivetrain for Rebecca out of the R8. But the Pagani's a rolling piece of art. They take one block of aluminum and just and make real switches. Any piece in this car you move, it goes click, 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 click. There's no plastic to break. There's no rubber to wear off. It's you engage in it. The one thing I really don't like about the car, and this one I shouldn't like it. Stay where you are, Rebecca. I'm using you as a reference point. Just above Rebecca's head, you can see the key on the dashboard. One of those buttons is the unlock. One of those is the lock. You pull that out of the hole there, and there's another metal piece where it clips together. So you have a little mini Pagani that sits in your pocket.
Yeah, yeah.
The reason I get so, and again, I can say this all day long and talk and take over this video here with everybody. I don't have one in my garage, let alone 3 or 5 like a lot of these collectors do. So I can't really say like, hey, Horatio, man, you're doing it wrong, because they're still going. A lot of the inner workings of the Pagani vehicles are tied into Mercedes. A lot of the computer work and things like that. To me, there's no reason that everything inside that key should not have been a solid core. Says, here's my Pagani key, I put it in my pocket, I open up the door, I close the door, and I turn a knob on the dashboard. Like, not that it's tacky, I just don't like that. I just don't like that part of it.
I feel like you'd lose the piece that doesn't go like
No,
for me, right? Because like I don't have pockets. I'm a female. I don't get pockets in my clothes. Like
because right behind Pat, there's actually a little nubbin on the console where you put the lid.
Oh, well, okay, I guess that solves that problem.
Yeah.
Now, none of you guys are Mercedes guys.
That's the key. right there. So
you
that
can see the holes where the two pieces line up. There are screws in this whole assembly. You open that up, and there's a Mercedes key in that unit.
same with the engine, right? The engine Mercedes.
The engine is a Mercedes engine. Pagani is the only company who has ever been licensed to have an AMG motor in a non-AMG vehicle. And that includes all the fanboys out there that up-badge their Honda Civics with an AMG badge on it. It's not licensed. Don't do it. Also, just don't do it. They are hand-built. I think there's only a handful of guys who build the line of motors for the Pagani world. And that's another one. They're gorgeous. They really are. A couple guys have a couple of them. A couple have been trashed. There was one that was wrecked on either Laguna Seca or Spa or one of the big tracks. Chris Singh has one, too. He has two of them, and one of them was hit by an Uber driver in New York City, I think, a couple years ago.
Oh.
And that's the other part. When a car as beautiful as the Pagani, so Salamandra had one.
Yeah.
And he would talk about his fear of taking it out wasn't being able to not handle it. It's the people, and I'm going to call you out here, E-Vapors, man, because you're not familiar with these cars, you haven't seen them, you see that rolling down the road, you get as close to that as you can to take your pictures. So now, like, you know, they're trying to pull away, and you're trying to get closer, and it's like, just pat with the examples over here. And that's part of the issue. They're gorgeous. They really are.
We get the same thing in the i8 though. I gotta say,
Yeah.
I'll be driving it. I don't pay attention, but if she's with me, she'll be like, everybody's taking our picture.
So that's because you drive with the doors up.
No. Well, you can't because the way the doors go up, the wind. Like we tried this once on a rally. We tried to push the doors open. You can't get them open above probably 5 miles, maybe 10.
The fastest we were going was 45 with the I pushed the door open.
Okay, well, you can't really get the doors open
but not at highway
very
speeds.
fast because there's so much, I guess, surface area.
But it's so rare to see it.
Yeah, they're not, and they don't look like anything else, you know? Like, they're so, you see a Lamborghini, you recognize a Lamborghini. You see this, and you're like, what the heck is it?
I parked at the Walmart over here, went in, came back out. There was a lady sitting on a tailgate, like across the row from me. She was waiting on her husband. This was months ago. And as I came back, she said, there were tons of people that stopped and took their pictures in front of your car. And I said, I have to go back and look at the dash cam. You know, I don't get to see this. But yeah, a lot of people like to take pictures of it. So yeah, the same thing would definitely happen. Hey, Maryland Spotter, Eric's here. He says, what do you think of the rally? So he's planning a rally on his Instagram page. You'll see a rally that they're planning. I think they're going from Katie's Cars and Coffee out to another destination, and Savage shared it as well. So it looks like it's going to be a big thing here. So, yep, definitely got to check that out, both on Savage Garage and on Maryland Spotter Instagram. So thanks for bringing that up, Eric.
Say that again, Pat?
If you go to Maryland Spotter's Instagram or Savage Garage, there is a rally that's starting down at Katie's Cars and Coffee in Northern Virginia.
It's going to...
It's going to Eastern Shore, I think.
I don't know.
He's already got 50 cars signed up, and
Gibson Island.
Gibson Island. I'm sorry. Yeah, June 27th, and registration's $25, and it's all a donation that's going out. So they're also going to have a donation as well. So
I'm gonna have to sit that one out.
Yes,
all these Saturday car shows. Come on, guys.
Yep. Yeah, I know it's difficult.
We can broadcast live from the car.
You know what? That's the thing. Yeah, record
everything.
Actually,
I mean, I don't know. They'll probably, one of Randy's guys will probably do that. They'll probably just do what they did on the other rallies. They'll just live stream.
You can do it now that you got 1,000 subs there, Pat. You can do live stream from your phone.
That's true. That's very true. And in fact, some of these, like the way my dash cam, I think will even give me the ability to set up a live stream if I wanted to. But or I could go on Instagram Live, you know, something like that.
It's another hike.
Yeah.
I'd love to go, but
yeah, it's it's difficult to even for me. I'm a little bit closer than you are, Soto, to Northern Virginia. But yeah, it's
I'll probably see if I can get a ride in one of Randy's cars.
And that's the best way to do it is when it's really like car show and rally and charity season. The dates are all going to get out there, so you'll look at the calendar and say which ones are the best ones for me to jump into, and that's the one like okay, I'm going to make it to this one. I'm going to make it the biggest and the best, and just balls to the wall with it. When Pat and I went to the one in Hershey, then no, it was Hershey, then Lancaster, and then it was the
the one.
Children's Hospital in DC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like it was a very busy 3-week stretch
Yes.
of charity car events and shaking hands and talking to people. And then I came home and I'm like, I need a Sunday off.
Yeah.
Because you've done so much.
Yeah.
So it's almost good that you can't make it to everyone. Because then the ones that you get to, number one, you appreciate it more. It's a whole different experience.
Pat, do you think will do anything like this, like Shane did for Lancaster Cars and Coffee, and Maryland Spotter's doing?
Will typically just has the Hunt Valley thing, and he doesn't organize
Cruises.
No,
Yeah.
and it's mainly Hunt Valley Horsepower is such a long event for him because he gets out there at 5 in the morning. He's helping with security, setting up cones, cleaning up trash. So he'll walk the entire lot. He'll clean up trash, and he's there until it closes down at 10 o'clock. And then he'll have a couple hours of maybe meetings with the Iron Rooster that's right there. I know that he's talking with people that help support the event because they donate money and time to make sure that he can run this event. That it becomes he's up at 4 in the morning till noon, and he's getting like 15,000 steps in on his Fitbit. So that's mainly his thing. He doesn't. He knows that that's what he's locked in. But people have used that as a launching off point to go attend other events or do other rallies, and he'll like rope an area off for them people so they can all meet there and then leave as a group. But that's all he does.
Gotcha.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Y'all done taught me. I had a whole lesson on a whole car that I just became familiar with messing with y'all, man. And I got the whole history lesson. How you put the crest is the logo and the key, and that one you put the key together. Got Mercedes on the inside, man. I doubt I would have even known all of that information. I promise you, I wouldn't even have looked that deep into it, man. But Koenig, some years ago, I had some rims, some alloy racing wheels that were made by Koenig. Y'all ever heard of that?
Koenig. That's Koenig.
Koenig, yeah. But it's spelled the same. The first part is spelled the same.
Oh.
I thought that's just K-O-N-I.
Oh, no. Koenig. You can look it up. I had some Koenig, some Koenig racing wheels on my Mitsubishi Eclipse.
Okay.
Yeah, Koenig.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So Koenig is king in German. So
He's the king of the eggs.
They've been making racing wheels since the 90s. That's when I came in contact with Koenig for the first time.
Interesting. Yeah, I that rings a bell with me too. I mean, I don't buy aftermarket wheels. I don't want to spend the money because I can never get the money back on the wheels when I get rid of them. So I never wanted to buy them, but that does ring a bell with me.
I think I'm gonna start planning my first mods for the Jetta now that I just joined a Volkswagen Facebook group and stuff that's for the Mark 7s, and said it was hard because
I'm the rabbit hole you go.
I've never, like it's my first car. I've never done any of this stuff. I don't know anything about modding vehicles. So like these people have already, posted the things like what they've done. How we were talking about lowering it, like they've lowered it, different wheels, bigger tires, things like that. So I'm like, okay, I have some ideas now of where I might want to go for it.
She got a new job, so she's gonna have extra money to blow on car things.
Oh,
We'll have some car content. She'll be able to should be.
I'm just gonna. Well, what's gonna happen is I'll just make my own YouTube channel, and I'll hire Pat as my editor to edit my videos, and then I'll just
This will be your mechanic.
I'll just quickly like go off. You know, my channel will become bigger than your channel.
You need to make it rain for me to do all that editing.
My channel will. No, you owe me for all the hours I've spent helping you with your stupid stuff. You owe me, so my channel.
Real quick.
Mhm.
Something I've been thinking about, and you mentioned talk about the cars and coffee and how long it takes to put together, and then afterwards a lot of it is the car show event ends, and then the guys running it all over the country then go talk to all their different sponsors and various people like that to help keep the car shows going. Something I think that we internally can do and I know that only Pat is the main influencer. We're just kind of like hanging on the coattails. But us as influencers around, like we should find a couple different restaurants that we really appreciate and try to, talk them up a little bit as a way to drive our audience to them. Do like a reverse sponsorship, at least during Corona while things are slow. Just a thought. That probably should have happened off camera with the group. But like,
No, that's good. That's a good idea. I like it because I mean, even if it's Premier Financial Services, you talk about them now, and I'm actually going to do some. I'm gonna contact them and get some information. So they're going to be like, "Hey, this guy Pat is our number 1."
Do you get money every single time you say their name? Do you get like a dollar every single time you say Premier Financial Services? How many times can we say it in a live stream? Just slip it in there.
It's already done. He's even done it in the chat. He put $1.99 on it.
I put $1.99 on Premier Financial Services.
Yeah, like Duramax Country Boy said, all you need is wheels and tires and a big wing.
I don't think they make.
Well, what you need to do is turn the Jetta into a donk.
No.
It's already lifted high enough.
No, I will not turn the Jetta into a donk. No, that's stupid. No offense if you like donks, I don't. They're weird.
Yeah, but the donkey cars can get anywhere in the floods.
Yeah, not in a Jetta. That's more for your box Chevy.
Yeah, like that's.
Donk.
No.
Donk.
No.
Not
nope.
a Jetta though.
But
Jetta, donk.
He said put a big wing on it, but like, where am I gonna get a wing for a Jetta? Nobody does that.
No, I wouldn't do a wing. I would do like a little dovetail.
We got fiberglass. I mean, not fiberglass. We got
carbon fiber.
We have carbon fiber and we have a bunch of the
wrap.
No, the wood, the plywood. We have a bunch of plywood in the shed, and we have carbon fiber. So all we need to do is take the plywood and put the carbon fiber over it, and then resin, and then we'll buff it down, and then just put it right on the trunk.
You should do one of the little mini ones.
No, so
like a little Hot Wheels the next rally.
Yep.
It has to be big enough that like you can sit underneath and use it as a table.
Right. That's right. Amazon.
I can buy a big wing for my Jetta on Amazon.
So we'll wrap it up in about 5 minutes, but want to go around the horn? Any last thoughts here before we get off?
Yeah, real quick, man. I took about 3 or 4 minutes and peeped some of the video footage of the Koenigsegg on Savage Garage. I couldn't hear any audio when we were talking. I just caught some of it on the highway when it came off the truck and all that stuff. That is an interesting looking car. I'm a Lambo guy, but it stands alone in its own class. It's $1 million car, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, man. I just subscribed to Savage Garage, so I'm interested to get that notification bell and see what's coming out next from the channel. Hopefully, I'll see you guys on there. Yeah, hopefully I'll see you guys on there. But yeah, I'll keep y'all updated, man, on my application process through Premier Financial Services.
Good.
Services.
I'm finding Rebecca her wing.
I can't see it. I just
There it is. Yeah, you can do
That's
that.
not a wing. That doesn't count.
Like a
No,
ducktail.
that's a little dovetail. That's all you need.
I mean, it looks better than what's on it now. But mine has this thing on it. It's called a bumperdillo. And it sits like on the lip of the trunk at the bottom, and it's chrome, and it's so ugly.
Wrap it.
I know, but I don't know what color to wrap it. I think I want to do a chrome delete and wrap everything black or something like
I
that.
like the aftermarket emblem. That's a very cool badge they use in that picture.
That's the I've been drinking too much when I pull up behind a Volkswagen picture. They're all blurry.
That's right. I swear it's an Audi.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Last thoughts here. Thank you all for joining. I want to,
Pink?
big shout out to everybody that joined in on the chat as well.
Wait, we have to Duramax. What does that mean?
Pink.
Pink.
He thinks you should wrap it pink.
I should wrap it pink?
Yeah,
Ew.
he asked what color you wanted to do the.
Ew, that's disgusting.
I
No.
think it'd look good. We'll get some test pink. We'll definitely give it a try. Maryland Spotter, thanks for stopping by and talking about your rally as well. Definitely check out Maryland Spotter's Instagram there to get more information on the rally if you're in the area. So that should be a big turnout. Yeah, we'll try to get. It's been tough because we've been juggling trying to get some guests on here, and it's hard sometimes, with scheduling and things like that. So I put a bunch of feelers out, and we'll see what we can do for next week and the weeks coming as well. But definitely appreciate everybody stopping by, checking out the channel, and we'll be doing this a little bit more often, at least until they finally lift all the restrictions and we could do some of this collaboration in person. That would be really nice.
Yeah. Oh,
We're gonna go order some local pizza.
Yes.
yeah.
Good night, guys.
Good
All
night.
right. Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Okay. End stream. And